Don't forget to order your copy of Untethered, Living and Leading Liberation at edleadership, 4, liberation.com. I hope that this excerpt blesses you. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. The people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are. The Mountain is You by Brianna Weist. It all started on the eve of 2018, days before closing the door on 2017, when I wanted to cast aside my superwoman cape of wife and mothering obligations to reignite my enigmatic youth and carelessness. With the winter holiday break in full swing and the new year around the corner, I was engaged in my normal Christmas activities. A bit naughty, a bit nice. It's interesting how deprivation of the quintessential elements for happiness fuels the conversations you begin to have with the angel on your right shoulder and the commitments you make with the devil on your left. And so I started 2018 determined to find greater balance in work and life by creating better systems to efficiently get things done. I thought my biggest challenge was to consistently implement those systems, but little did I know that in 2018, it would be about unearthing the root of a lot of my challenges. Most importantly, my challenges with each of my titles: wife, mother, leader, and Black woman. April of 2018 brought more than rain showers. I could tell when my life was in a drought. I demonstrated a new level of thirst that could only be satisfied from the fountain of liberation. I sometimes wonder if my ancestors' daily inner voice was centered on screaming for freedom. A top of a roller coaster kind of scream. A bellowing scream one might yell at a lookout point at the Grand Canyon to let the sound reverberate and bounce across the jagged rocks. Or maybe it was a relentless voice that constantly whispered, "Run. Just drop everything and run. Run fast. Freedom is right around the corner. Don't lose hope. You're going to be free one day soon, I promise. Master Joseph is taking a liking to you. It would just be a matter of time before you're out of this place and carrying his child. Just run now or die trying." Oddly enough, the remnant of that voice echoes a similar tone of what myself and so many of my friends and colleagues describe as their daily conundrums, trying to balance the various roles in our lives to avoid running away from it all. Our inner screams resoundingly say, "You're not enough. You don't have what it takes to maintain all of your blessings. Life is hard and everyone's unhappy, so why do you think you deserve something different? God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. Something is wrong with you when you can't juggle everything and feel fulfilled. Smile. You're starting to look like what you're going through." With my inner voice beginning this unforgiving chant, I found myself choking on my dry mouth attempts of a new me, aligned to my New Year resolutions in the early months of 2018. The incessant April rain showers didn't come close to quenching my thirst. I attempted to call upon the quiet assertiveness and subtle poise of Michelle Obama, but kept unleashing the tenacity and obstinacy of Rosa Parks and Maxine Waters. Not to mention that as an early school leader, I became frustrated with non-closure. I had a churning discomfort in my attempt to constantly pour myself into the daily responsibilities as an assistant principal. A defeated kink in my chain began to form after meeting with teachers to address concerns, attending countless meetings, and submitting the endless paperwork that was beckoned by central office. Nothing ever felt done. To put it bluntly, I was exhausted. And I was open, wide open. Sometimes when we put vibes of curious desire into the universe, we get back tests and trials to check the extent of our curiosity, which was exactly what happened the evening of May 19th, 2018. Out of curiosity, I went to attend the funeral of an old acquaintance's mother. As fate would have it, I remained friends with people within our friend circle over the years. However, I hadn't physically seen or spoken with this acquaintance, that I'll call Mr. Kamasi, in almost 15 years. I had a brief crush on him when I was in college, but nothing materialized. Nothing could have prepared me to walk into the funeral that evening. With an air of openness came a certain aroma of confidence. I strutted across the cobblestone parking lot, enamored by the sound from the click of my heels and the reflection of my profile in the car windows lined in the parking lot. As soon as I walked in and Mr. Kamasi's stature met my gaze for the first time in nearly 15 years, I was taken aback. I had an instant yet deep emotional connection as I watched him at the head table, clothed in black and red attire, the customary Ghanaian funeral garb. The funeral hall was filled with a mixture of somber cries and faith-based jubilation, and when it became time for the guests to greet the members of the head table, I began to panic and suddenly felt shy. I am far from shy. When it was my turn to greet Mr. Kamasi, I was somehow at a loss for words. My head was screaming praises to the universe for the reunion, and slowly condolences fell from my lips like raindrops for his loss. The shock in his eyes signaled that he too was at a loss for words. Soon after, he motioned for me to meet him outside as if a symbiotic understanding were underway. We didn't say much to one another when we stepped outside, but our eyes remained intently glued. We didn't have to say anything. We knew what unsaid wishes were being met and uncommunicated emotions were being shared. Not long after reuniting with Mr. Kamasi, I learned what my ancestor Maya Angelou wrote so eloquently: "Love costs all that we are." As an early leader, I believed doing things the right way would afford me the promises and dreams my ancestors hoped freedom would entail. However, there I was that evening in May, free but tethered. Free but scared to grow and explore who I was beyond an educator and leader, tethered to what being a career woman afforded me. Free but fearful of what it meant to prioritize my personal happiness, tethered to the title of wife and mother because of the joy and accomplishment I felt in raising such phenomenal children and marrying such an amazing man. Free but consumed by the dogma of upholding the air of religiosity, tethered to the title of being a pastor's child and Christian. I was free, but not liberated. And so there I was, running toward Mr. Kamasi for my healing, yet tethered to doing what was familiar, looking outward instead of looking inward. Seeking my liberation caused me to take a closer look at the process of healing. At an early age, children are taught to sound the alarm when they get hurt. Parents and caring adults want to quickly ease their pain and immediately heal the wound. It's covered with a Band-Aid, and children are told to ignore the source of their pain. From that, we learn to seek solace outward for our pain. We believe the answers lie in something or someone else and form dependencies and addictions to things like food, shopping, money, careers, and love. We become tethered. Similarly, how we show up in our personal lives transcends to how we show up in our professional lives. Tethered people tether people. Consequently, we become leaders ascribing to pushing deadlines, deliverables, and countless directives to meet goals to prove our effective leadership. However, the true success of leaders is measured by the real relationships that are authentically developed with the people they lead. Learning about real relationships in my personal life in 2018 fueled my ability to unpack the role of real relationships and how they also played a role in my leadership. Realizing that I was focusing on mainly being the leader people wanted instead of prioritizing the leader people needed, disrupted my cycle of tethered leadership. To read the rest of this chapter and learn more about the guiding principles of relationships in life and leadership, purchase your copy of Untethered, Living and Leading Liberation at edleadership4liberation.com. That's edleadership4liberation.com. Thank you.